Welcome to another story, African Bushveld Animal Bedtime Stories, by Dr. Fred Spilkin. The story is called Ratel, which is a honey badger. I was walking through the bush quietly and with great care. You always have to take care in the bushveld, because there is always danger, and you certainly won't find anything good to eat if you make a lot of noise. Can you imagine, then, how surprised I was when I came across a young lion? My first reaction was to dig a hole in the ground and to scoot inside for protection. I'm very good at digging holes, because that's where I live, safe and sound. Well, there was no time for digging holes, because the lion was preparing to take a leap at me, and I knew I was in big trouble if I did not do something quickly. So I did what all badgers are known for: fearless bravery. I charged the lion. Well, because he was young and didn't know better than to mess with a badger, it was easy for me to attack him. I gave my famous Ratel war cry and charged him, and then bit him on the foot. I let go, and before he could jump away, I bit him on the other foot. He may have been young, but he was not stupid, and he decided very quickly to find a meal somewhere else. I trotted off with my tail in the air, feeling very proud of myself, because, you see, I was young as well, a sort of a teenage badger. Hey there, my name is Ratel. Well, that's what I'm called in Mpumalanga, South Africa. You may know of me as a honey badger, because honey is my favorite food. It really is my biggest weakness, and my story is all about how this craving for honey led me into a lot of trouble. My fur is black, with a white streak which runs from my head along my back down to my tail. My eyes are quite small, and my ears are so tiny that you can hardly see them. Yes, I know I'm not the cutest animal around, but I really don't mind. I do, however, think that I am the most interesting creature in the bushveld, because although I am quite small as animals go, I have no enemies. Well, hardly. How is that possible, you may ask? The answer is an easy one. Even though I only weigh about 35 pounds, and I am only about 1.5 feet long, excluding my tail, say the size of a smallish dog, everyone is scared of me. I think I'd better tell you why. Firstly, I have big, very powerful jaws and very long, sharp teeth. I'm also very, very strong, with 1/4 of an inch thick skin. Now, add some long claws and an absolutely fearless attitude, and you have the perfect fighting machine. Now, it may seem I am boasting, but even the mighty lion and the fearsome hunter leopard will think twice before they see me as a meal. They know my thick skin is very loose on me, and if they grab me in their jaws, I will be able to twist round and bite them, making them let go of me. Yes, I am a tough guy, living in a tough neighborhood. Well, enough about me. Let me tell you how I landed in trouble, looking for my favorite food, honey. I was walking through the bush one day, looking for something delicious to eat for my breakfast, when a little yellow bird swooped over my head, making a lot of noise. Well, that was really strange behavior, I thought. In fact, it became stranger, because it would settle on a branch a short way away and chirp like crazy. Now, I did not think I should pay much attention, because I have always felt that birds are very stupid animals, bird brains. It would have been better if I could talk bird, but of course I couldn't. Even so, I tried to understand why the little yellow bird was behaving so strangely. Eventually, I told it to go away because it was annoying me, and as I ran towards it to chase it away, it flew up and settled on a branch a short distance away. I noticed that every time I came towards it, it would fly to the next branch. Oh my goodness, I realized it wanted me to follow it, which is exactly what I did. Well, it did not take too long before I smelt honey. Yes, honey. I couldn't believe my eyes, because right there in front of me was a large beehive in the trunk of an old tree. Boy, it didn't take a minute, and I broke into the hive and started eating the honey. Sure, I got stung, but I only really felt some pain when I was stung on the nose, but it was worth it. When I had eaten enough, I wondered what happened to my little friend, the little yellow bird. As I moved away from the hive, he swooped in and started to eat the honey as well. Okay, I thought, that's a fair deal. You show me where the honey is, I will break into the hive, which he could not do, and then, when I am finished, you can eat to your heart's content. From that day on, I always welcomed my little yellow friend, and we found some great beehives and feasted royally together. Maybe he wasn't such a bird brain after all. I do remember one of our honey hunting days very well, because he took me onto an open field, which always makes me nervous, because instead of scuttling in the long grass and bushes, I felt very exposed in open areas. It became worse because I quickly realized he was leading me to a human house. Yes, I know I said I was very brave and clever, but I was taught by my mother to keep away from humans because they were very, very dangerous. I was just about to turn back when I smelt it. Yes, you guessed correctly. Honey. I could not believe my eyes, because a short distance from the house there were beehives. Yes, I mean beehives. I've never ever seen so many in my life. There were rows of them. I could not understand why the human would want so many hives. And how did he get the bees to make their hives in such a neat row? Naturally, I didn't think too long on the subject, because the call of beautiful honey was very strong. I broke into the first hive and pulled the honeycombs out, dripping in honey. I did find it strange, though, that the honeycombs were in neat rows and sort of square-shaped. I'd never seen honeycombs like that before. Maybe human magic. When I had finished eating, I did not hang about waiting for my friend, but ran for the long grass as quickly as I could. I was very scared of humans. I knew that I shouldn't go back, because it was very dangerous, but I could not resist the lure of so much honey, just there for the taking. After 2 or 3 visits to the human hives, I found them raised up on poles, about 3 feet high. Strange. Why would the human do that? I wasn't worried, though, because I could jump pretty high, especially if it was to get some honey. I will never forget what happened next. On one of my visits, I found a large honeycomb lying on the ground. Wow! Now that's easy, I thought, and without thinking, I rushed straight to the honey, and then bang! What was that, I thought, and became a little scared. So I grabbed the honey in my mouth and started to run away. I found that I could not, because the bang I heard was a door slamming shut on the wire cage I had not noticed in my hurry to get to the food. There I was, caught in a wire cage, and try as I might, with all my clawing and biting, I could not break through the tough wire, and I was caught. I don't know how long I was there, when this large man came to the cage and started laughing. He lifted the cage with me in it, and took me into a place with high walls around it, where he opened the cage, and I scooted out. Try as I might, I could not get out. The walls were just too high, and I was really scared of the man. Why was I so stupid? I should have looked first, before I rushed in to get to the honey. Well, there was nothing I could do about it, so I tried to hide from the man in some logs and twigs which were lying there. I thought he was going to kill me, but much to my surprise, instead he brought me some food, and very good food it was. There were carrots and turnips, and yes, would you believe it, some honeycomb as well. As the days went by, I thought that this was not so bad at all. Here I was, safe and sound, with all the food I needed, and living a really lazy life. I knew that I had to get back, though, because I became really bored, and I missed the excitement of the bush and my little yellow friend. Okay, I thought this was a breeze, because I could just dig under the wall, and I would be on my way. But it wasn't to be, because try as I might, I could not get down far, when I would find rock under the ground. I tried in a lot of places, but there was always rock in the way, and I had to give up on my plan. What to do now? I told you that badgers are really smart, and although I had been really stupid to get caught, I thought of another clever way to get out. I pushed the logs that were there against the wall and built them higher and higher, till they were nearly at the top. I then climbed up the logs and pulled myself onto the top of the wall. I jumped down, and I was free. Yes, I was free, and I ran as fast as I could across the field into the cover of the long grass, and I was safe. You would think that I would never have gone back to the human hives, and I did not think so as well. But I so much wanted that honey, I could not resist it. To make matters worse, my little yellow friend did not visit me any longer, so I really became quite desperate to feast on my favorite food. Yes, I went back. Yes, I did. I knew I was being stupid, and should have stayed away from humans, but I could not stop thinking about that absolutely delicious honey. This time I knew what to look for, and I wouldn't be so easily trapped. I mean, I'm not that stupid, am I? I went back when it was dark, hoping that the human would not see me. I crept very carefully across the open fields and approached the beehives. I stopped every now and then to make sure there was no danger and that I had not been seen. What on earth was this? I could not believe it, because there, on the open ground, was a piece of honeycomb. Oh no, not this time, I thought. I won't be caught again, and I stopped to look for a possible trap, but there was none. Yes, I mean it. There was no trap, and the honey was there for the taking. I crept up very slowly and grabbed the honey in my mouth and ran away as fast as I could into the long grass. That was easy. That was the easiest bit of honey I had ever had. No climbing trees, no bees to sting me. Wow, this was great. A few days later, I gave in to my craving and once again went back to the humans' hives. Of course, I approached the house very carefully and crept up to the hives, trying to see if there was a trap laid for me. No, there was no trap, but guess what? There it was, a piece of honeycomb just waiting for me. I did not hesitate this time, but grabbed it and ran away as fast as I could. I often went back to the human, and on most occasions I would find some honey on the ground, just for me. I became so used to the idea that one day, when I saw the man watching me, I overcame my fear and took my food. Then it hit me. Boy! The man had put it out for me, just for me, as long as I didn't destroy his hives, which I never did again. After a while, I became so used to the man, I would go quite close to him and eat the honey and other food he had put out for me, right in front of him. So, kids, this is how I became sort of friends with the human, and even dug my nest hole quite close to the human's house. I like to think that I trained my human. What do you think? Oh yes, and by the way, my little yellow friend still comes to have dinner with me sometimes.